pretty powerful networkers coming in. So spent a little time with him, and I'm so glad I did, because look at him and Elaine now, absolutely crushing the business. Give him a real quick hand. Folks, I'm here to talk to you about how to build your business. How to take it from dead zero and take it all the way to the top. How many of y'all want to learn how to do that? Yeah. And a lot of y'all are going to be sitting here going, you know, I've heard this before, I've saw this before. That's great. That means you're a distributor. That means that you've been exposed to this. What I want you to get out of this is what you need to do with each and every person, each and every promoter in your team. Does that make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
So there's two ways, two different people that's going to be viewing this. One who's brand spanking new, learning for the very first time, and those of you who are anywhere from an active associate all the way up to a 5-star ambassador. You're learning what you need to be doing in your team day after day, week after week, month after month. Let's jump in. We call this promoting the challenge, not selling the challenge. We're doing what? Promoting the challenge. Very important you understand that, because nobody likes to be sold. Would y'all agree? Yep. Everybody loves it when you just simply promote something to them. Through promoting the challenge, we are going to create your story. Whose story? Your story. You'll find that if you create stories, you don't have to sell, because the stories will sell. Does that make sense? Yeah. Can you imagine? Because a lot of people say, well, I don't know, I'm not sure how that works. Let me help you. If you're driving a beat-up, run-down Saturn, and you go to your friend's house and you turn it off and get out and it's still running and hiccuping, and then the next time you roll up in a black 750, how many of y'all know that it kind of sold itself? Does that make sense? So what we're going to do is we're going to create your story. We call this the race to regional. A lot of times people miss this. They don't understand this. You've got to go create your story for two purposes. For the people that you know, to attract them to Visalis, and also for the people that you've already attracted that are in your team. This gives them the belief that they can. I believe this. If one man or woman can do something, so can another. Do you believe that?
Yes.
So does everybody you know. You've got to go create that story. It's your race to regional. Before we get started, there's a couple things we got to do. First, we got to make sure that we secure your paycheck. You've got to have $125 worth of auto ship volume, or if you don't do it on auto ship, you've got to go purchase $200 worth of product. Again, if you're sitting here and you're already a promoter and you go, I already know that, great. Make sure what you see me doing right now is what you're doing with the people in your team, so they understand that they have to be active in order to get a check. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. Become familiar with Vinet. Did you notice I said the word familiar? I did not say become a professor of Vinet. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I talk to some people and I go, how many hours you put in your business this week? 10. Really? What'd you do? Well, I logged into my back office and I looked at that sucker. How many of y'all know you can stare at it all day long, you can play with all the gadgets back there, but none of that's going to generate dollars, is it? You've got to become familiar with it, but don't become the professor of it. You need to make sure you've got the mobile app downloaded to your phone. Gang, I know where some of you may be. I wasn't a big cell phone fan either. Had to kind of adapt to the new world. I mean, before Visalis, I could have got away with a jitterbug, and y'all might not know what that is up here in Canada, but it's this little phone with big letters, so that people with that's old like me can actually see the numbers and letters on the phone, right? But with Visalis, I needed to move into the smartphone era. So if you're not on the smartphone, you need to move into the smartphone era so that you can operate your business off of the smartphone. A component that you use with that is the swiper. So make sure you're on the swiper. Some people, well, I don't know if I want to be on the swiper. Well, let me help you out. How many of y'all want an entire army of people running around with a swiper swiping credit cards? Some of y'all want an entire army? Okay. If you're not on the swiper, why would anybody in your team be on the swiper? People do what you do, not what you say. You can tell them to go get on the swiper all day, but until they see you on the swiper, they see you at the challenge parties, grabbing cards, swiping cards, they're not going to get on the swiper. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Lastly, you've got to equip yourself. You got to make sure you're prepared. You got to make sure you've got magazines. You got to make sure you got product. You got to be prepared so people can taste the product, so people can be exposed to what we're doing. Does that make sense? Always ask yourself this. If you got stopped by the Visalis police, y'all call it, OPP here? Is that what they call OPP? I don't know, I'm not good with letters, but the VPP, I don't know. You got stopped by the Vasalis police. You got stopped by the Vasalis police. Would you be found guilty of being a Vasalis promoter? Do you have enough stuff in your... Man, I got stopped in the state of Georgia one time, and there was no doubt I was a Vasalis promoter. Matter of fact, he wanted to know what the white powder was. I had to explain to him, that's not the type you snort, my friend, that's the type you drink. And he made me mad when he wrote me a ticket, so I told him by the looks of things he needed to drink some of it. Anybody that's been around the business for 2.5 years remembers that post on Facebook. It went viral. It was crazy because I said, dude, you're writing me a $500 ticket. At least take a picture with me so I can put it on Facebook and tell your story. It's quite interesting. Make sure you're equipped. Make sure you're equipped. Y'all hear us talk about the Getting Started training. We always do the Getting Started training immediately following a challenge party. That is 7 days to director. This is what we do. When you're doing that Getting Started training, do exactly what you see me sharing. You got to make sure your people meet their support team. They've got to know who their upline is. Who are they going to contact for help? You got to make sure they leave that challenge party with that information in their telephone. In their what? Telephone. Because if not, they're not going to have it. If they just simply write it on a sheet of paper, they're going to lose that sheet of paper. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
We got to make sure that they're plugged into the weekly activities. We've got some calls that take place. You've got the Monday night vision call that takes place. They've got to have that in their calendar. You've got the Thursday night challenge call that takes place. They've got to have that in their calendar. I'm sure each and every one of you are having a team call as well. They've got to have that in their calendar. If you don't make sure they put it in their calendar, I can assure you they're either not going to be on that call, or you're going to be texting them and calling them and sending them emails and iJots and Facebooks, whatever it is, trying to get them all on a call. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Next step is we got to make sure they set their goals. And by the way, if you're brand new here, I'm talking to you. If you're not brand new here, I'm telling you what you need to go do with each and every person in your business. First goal we got to set a challenge goal, don't we? Yeah. You must be on a challenge if you're going to promote a challenge. If you're not, you're a fraud. Is it okay if I talk straight to y'all? Yeah. You're fake. You're not on a challenge, you're fake. And I don't care what you say, people see through you. How can you promote a challenge you're not on? But Kyle, I don't need to lose anyway. Listen, I ain't never been bigger than a bar of soap after a hard day's washing. I stood sideways right now, stuck out my tongue. Some of y'all think I'm a zipper. I ain't never had no weight to lose neither, but I had to figure out how the challenge affected my life. I got on the challenge to put on some muscle mass. Maybe you got to get on a challenge to take off some weight or inches. How many have y'all figured out weight don't matter? When was the last time you were in a grocery store and somebody slung a scale down in front of you? Stand on that. No, it's about inches, isn't it, ladies? About inches. It's all about how we look, isn't it? Y'all are terrible. Only in Canada. I've said this for 3 years. I come to Canada and y'all mess it all up. Maybe you're a runner. Any runners in here? Anybody run them K things? A bunch of y'all.
K things.
Man, y'all put your name on a list and I'll add y'all to my prayer list. Because I don't run. If you see me running, somebody shoot that big joker chasing me. But maybe you want to cut your time down in your 5K. I don't know what it is, but you must be on a challenge. You must have a challenge. You must be on a what?
Challenge.
Next, you got to have a goal to become a rising star. Rising star is where you first sense success. And Blake was talking to the regional directors last night, and he was sharing with the regional directors that we must focus on getting people to rising star. Because when they get to rising star, they get a check. When they get a check, they gain belief. They know it works, right? So it's your mission, your goal, your purpose that the moment a person comes in, you help them set a goal for their challenge, and then you immediately help them set their goal to go rising star. Even though the company says 30 days to director makes you a rising star, that's not our messaging. Our messaging is 7 days to rising star. People go, well, why? Because if you tell them 30 days, they're going to start on the 28th day. If you do it in 7 and you miss, well, you've got 3 more 7-day periods to try to fix it, right? So you want to focus on a 7-day period. 7 days, their goal needs to be 7 days out from the time they get in. You got to help them do this, help them focus, and help them set this goal to go Rising Star. We also got to help them acquire 3 customers so their product's free. They've got to set a goal for that. Here again, you want to set that goal for 7 days. If they miss, then you do it again over the next 7 days. But you want the goal to be 7 days. You've got to help them see that. A lot of times they're going to go, wow, that sounds like a lot. No, it's real simple. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a pre-party. We're going to invite your friends. We're going to have 10 of your friends show up. We're going to sit there and play the DVD, make some milkshakes, and we're going to end up with 3 of those 10 people wanting to join us on the challenge as a consumer, and we're going to have 3 of those 10 people that want to be a promoter. Pretty simple. We're going to do the pre-party here in a couple days. We're going to do the challenge party within 7 days, and when they come to the challenge party, you're going to be a Rising Star, and you're going to have your product for free. Make sense? They say yes. But if you don't break it down, it sounds overwhelming. Make sense?
Yes.
Next thing we got to do is we got to define why they're building this business. Why are they getting involved as a promoter? First question I would ask is, why are you? You see, here's what I found over 24 years in this industry. If a person does not know why they're doing it, they're not going to do it. Some of you, it's about just making enough money to pay the water bill. That's cool. Some of you, it's you're tired of driving the car you're driving. Some of you, you're tired of being partners in the house you own. You're tired of having a partner called the bank. For some of you, ladies, you want to wear red bottom shoes. For some of you guys, you love your wife so much, you want to make sure she wears red bottom shoes. Guys, this is where you should hoot and holler. There you go. Just trying to help you out here, because if not, it's going to be a bad week at your house. For some of you, it's to stay home and be a full-time mom and a full-time dad. 3 people hoop and holler. I get it. Sometimes you don't want to be around them critters that long. I get it. But if you're a full-time mom and dad, you have options, right? You don't have to be there all the time, but you can be. Some of you can't see that far. Some of you are just like, well, you know, my husband's got to keep working, but maybe I can be a full-time mom. That's a cool thing. Maybe you can't even see that far. Maybe all you can see is, man, it'd be really cool if I could design my life to where I could at least pick them up from school. Maybe just be able to take them to school and pick them up from school. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe that's your dream. Maybe it's just to pick them up in something they actually want to get in. How many of y'all figured out they don't like getting in that grocery getter with the wood grain on the side? How many of y'all figured this out? I mean, when you shut it off, it's still running bellow and smoke. Y'all think they're being held back? They're not. They're hiding around the corner till all their friends are gone. Maybe that's your dream. Maybe your dream is financial independence. I don't know, but you've got to know what your dream is, don't you? If you don't know what your dream is, how are you going to find out what his dream is? When you're bringing a new person in, you've got to find out what their purpose is, what their why is. And I'm going to tell you, when they first come in, it's not going to be dreams of owning islands and mansions. It's going to be a small dream. It's going to be a simple dream. It's going to be like, man, I just want to make it through a day without having a nervous breakdown of whether I'm going to be able to pay the mortgage. You know, it's going to be something small. I remember my first dream 24 years ago when I got in this industry. I was married very young. And some of y'all are going to think this is crazy, but this is some of the things that people you're working with, this is the type of dream they're going to have. My dream was to simply wake up in the morning to the sound of a vacuum cleaner. Sounds weird, don't it? Let me finish. And look over and my wife was still laying in bed. That was my first dream. That's all I wanted, man. I just wanted to give her a life where she wasn't having to be the one out there doing the house all the time. And it didn't take me long because that was my dream, and I sunk my teeth into it and I focused on it. Pretty soon, I woke up to the sound of a vacuum cleaner and she was still laying in bed. We had someone cleaning our house. And so it's going to be something small in the beginning, but it will continue to grow. It'll continue to grow. Some of you, you're making enough money right now to where you're happy. Now maybe your dream is you want them maybe you want one of them Lamborghinis or whatever them things are, them cars. What are they called?
Lamborghini.
Yeah, that. Maybe you want one of them. Hey, I got one and I can't even know people say, what kind of car is that? I go, I don't know, read it. It's Lamborghini, I think. I said, what are you doing with it? I need to run errands. I mean, my girlfriend complains it takes me a long time to go to the store, so I got something I can get there quicker. You got to understand your why. You got to understand your reason. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
We got to start a list. I want you to understand that the list is your inventory. A lot of times people think that because Visalis is a nutritional company and we have milkshakes, that the milkshakes is your inventory. No, the milkshakes is not your inventory. Your inventory is people. Your inventory is your list. Your lifeline is your list. We are not in a product business. We are in a people business. We're in a what? People business. The bigger your list, the more money you're going to make. Make sense? A lot of times people say, well, I don't know anybody. You've got a problem. And I'll prove it. How many of y'all know that I don't care how many milkshakes you drink? I don't care how many goes, pros, neuros. I don't care how many Vipacs you take. I don't care if you crush them up and apply them topically or snort them. Makes no difference to me. Sorry, I thought I was in Miami, Florida. Sorry. At some point in life, you are going to die. How many of y'all know you're going to die? I hope you're 199 years old, but at some point you're going to die. When you die, they're going to throw you in a box, ain't they? And on that box, there's 6 handles. If you ain't got 6 friends, you're about to be a family embarrassment. Your mama's going to be in the hardware store trying to rent a pallbearer. How many of y'all know this is going to be bad? Everybody's got 6 friends. And if you ain't got 6 friends, you better go read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. We all have friends. So you got to build a list. And what kills me, people say, well, I ain't got no friends. And I go, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you $20 for every name you can put on your list right there. Isn't it amazing? All of a sudden they start knowing everybody. Isn't it crazy? So here's what I found. You don't even have to give them $20. All you have to do is ask them the question. What if I was to give you $20 for every name you put on the list? How many names are you going to have? Let me ask you, how many names you going to put on a list? A bunch. 1,000. I got 1,000 up here. Man, you're going to put some names on the list if I'm going to give you $20 per name. But let me break some news to you. The names you put on your list, if you build this business the way I chose to build it, you build it the way Jason chose to build it, and all the other leaders within Visalis, the names on that list will be worth way more than $20. You see, the names on my list, if you take how much money I've made over the last 35 months and divide it by the number of names on my list, my names are worth thousands and thousands of dollars each name on my list. In the beginning, your names might not be worth that much on your list. But as your income grows, as your business grows, your names are worth thousands. So if I was only giving you $20, how big would the list be? It would be huge. Make sure you're having this dialogue with people when they're building their list, because the way that a person's going to grow their business the fastest is having a solid list to work out of. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Never prejudge anyone. Sometimes people make a list and they go, well, he's a loser. He might be. I mean, I don't know if he is or not, but I mean, it's probably not your place to make that decision. Would y'all agree? Yes. Well, this guy don't need the money. He's already rich. Let me break something to you. A lot of times people think just because somebody lives in a big fancy house and drives a big fancy car and runs around with a bunch of big fancy clothes that they're rich. Let me tell you what's really happening behind the scenes, what you're not seeing. At night when nobody's looking, they're on their knees praying that somebody will bring an opportunity into their life to save their financial life. What most of you don't know is they ain't paid their mortgage in 20 months. They got something called status. Status is where you take money that you don't have and spend it to impress people that you don't even like. You see how this works? Most of them's got status and they've spent all this money and it's all financed. And now their financial situation has changed and they're praying for somebody to bring something in their life, but there's a facade. And you're buying into the facade. Don't buy into the facade. I know they're hurt. You know why I sponsor some high quality people? Because I don't care what they drive, I don't care where they live, I don't care how they posture and carry themselves. I know they're probably broke. Are they all broke? No. But it's not your decision to determine whether they need an opportunity. It's not your decision to determine whether they need to be part of a challenge, right? It's not your job to sell them either. But it's our job to expose them. So don't prejudge anyone. I don't care if you think that it's not for them. I don't care if you think that they're rich. I don't care if you think just because they're healthy they don't need to be on a challenge. It's not your job to determine that. All you do is expose them. So put everybody on your list. Make sense? Once you build the list, give a copy to your upline. When you're working with your people, when they build their list, get a copy from them so you can work with them on their list. You can ask them about the people. Have we called these? Let's call this person together. Make sense? You can't manage what you can't measure, so you definitely want to get a copy of it. A lot of times you'll hear us talking about recruit up. What do we mean by this? Most of y'all know this is your chicken list. People you're scared of. People you respect. Listen, these three kinds of people in life. The ones that look up to you, the ones you look eye to eye to, and the ones you look up to, right? The ones you look up to, them are the ones on your chicken list. But let me tell you about them. They'll build the business faster than anybody else on your list. Let me share with you why. They have influence over you, don't they? Say yes. If they've got influence over you, they got influence over others. Would you agree? When they speak, people listen. So when you recruit up or you go and you expose people in your chicken list and a couple of them join you, they all ain't got to join you. A couple of them join you, you're going to see the business move extremely fast because they have credibility. And you'll hear us talk about that a lot. They have credibility. They have influence. They don't have to set the stage of who they are and what they accomplish. People know who they are and what they accomplish. And when they say, I'm doing this, people jump for the opportunity to be part of it. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Living a lifestyle, this is my favorite way. Some of y'all have heard the story about me. I don't fly first class. I don't own a jet. I fly back with the little folks. Why? Because they ain't rude. I tried flying in first class. They all had their nose up there. Act like they were too important. Too busy. Plus, I only had one of them sitting next to me. I like to double my chances. So when I fly, I book the middle seat in the back of the plane. I got one on the left and one on the right. Somebody's about to have a lucky day. Do it any way you want. What I do is I open the magazine to the page where it's my picture. It's kind of a game. Open it up. First one that recognizes me, and it's funny, man, they look like they got some kind of disease. Because they sit there like they're sleeping. And they got the eyes cracked, and you keep seeing them twitch. They twitching. They don't want me to catch them looking, so they twitching. Finally, they get ready to go, is that you? I go, yes, it is, and I'm glad you identified that. Today is your lucky day. Now, the really cool part about an airplane is where are they going? Kind of got your undivided attention for a while. It worked out really well. So now I double my efforts. When me and Melanie fly, I fly in one seat and she flies in the other. She tees them up and I go, all right, baby, switch seats. And I jump back there where she was at. They're all just in shock. They don't know what to do. Have fun with it. Live life. I've sponsored some of the biggest people ever in my businesses in this industry. One of them I sponsored at a boat ramp, loading my boat after a day of fishing. Just entering dialogue. People's like, what do you mean? It's lifestyle, and it's called, I had this belief. Leave a person in a better place than you found them. Y'all believe that?
Yes.
So what happens is when I see someone, I say hi. And through saying hi, a conversation begins to take place. And before I'm done with that conversation, whether I share ViSalus or not, my focus is to make sure they feel better about themselves when I leave than they did before I get there. Now, during that conversation, a lot of times the opportunity is going to come up for me to share what I'm excited about. And sometimes it won't, and that's okay. I can always get their number. Maybe it's not a good timing. That's called lifestyling. That's just meeting people as you live life. Ladies, how many of y'all like to shop? Few of y'all? Guys, how many of y'all like to shop with them? Okay. Ladies, just go shopping and say hey to all the ladies. Guys, I'm going to give you a golden nugget. I don't know if I've even ever taught this at my sales before. I don't remember. Guys, go shopping with your ladies. You want to meet some people? Watch this. Go shopping with your ladies, and every time you walk into a store that sells clothes, look back there around the women's dressing room. Kind of be looking in that area. You will see him. You'll see him back there.
Another one.
Got his arms folded, lip hanging down, pissed off, don't want to be there. Matter of fact, their lips hanging down so low, looks like he's wearing a turtleneck. He don't want to be there. He's begging for another male voice to come speak to him. All you got to do is walk up and say hi, and that joker will jump on you. Say hi, and he's like, "How you doing? I'm so glad you showed up here. Let's talk. Please talk to me, please, please." And you go, "Heard about sales?" "No, but I'm so excited. Tell me all about it." I got a friend that does Viagra, one does Cialis. Is it the same thing? Listen. I'm telling y'all, man, I've sponsored so many people, so many guys standing by the women's dressing room. I'm telling you, it's a home run. Makes sense, yes.
Yes.
Social networks, y'all know. All you got to do is go on Facebook, start making some posts and chat with folks, make all kinds of friends. Step 2, schedule your personal challenge party. Step 2, do what? Schedule your personal what? Challenge party. You got to schedule that between 4 and 7 days from now. If you're brand new, schedule your challenge party between 4 and 7 days from right now. If you're already in the business, when you sponsor someone, you have got to make this happen. Force the calendar, your calendar. Schedule a challenge party 4 to 7 days from right now. Here's what a challenge party looks like. It's got to be fun. It's got to be social. It's got to be simple. You got to have. It's got to be at your home. Mm-hmm. Well, Kyle, I want to do it at the hotel. Well, there's a time and a place for that. We call that an open challenge party, but that's not a personal challenge party. A personal challenge party happens at your home. But Kyle, you don't understand. My house is dirty. We're inviting your friends. They know you live dirty. Last week when they were at your house, it was dirty. Man, if you cleaned it, it would be weird. Don't invite them over, right? We got a renovation going on. Listen, 2x4s were hanging out of your wall last week when they were there. Don't worry about it. These are your friends. We're not inviting royalty. We're not inviting the prime minister. Is that what y'all got here? We invite the prime that guy. We inviting him. We inviting presidents. We're inviting your friends. Your friends. However you live, they're used to that. Invite them to your house. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Have music playing so it's not weird. Serve shakes because that's our core product. You want to see that the shakes taste good. Have comparison charts, comparison flyers handed out. Have some magazines laying around so people can look at them, kind of get an idea of what's going on. Play the DVD. It says full version. Does that make sense? Say yes? Yes. There is a half version, and Joni's going to talk to you about what that is, but you're going to play the full version. Now, you might probably going to hit pause in the middle of it and share a testimony if there's people that has it at your house. Sometimes you won't. Because sometimes, and hopefully the best time is when it's you and a bunch of people that don't have a testimony because they're not in the business or on the challenge yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you just play it all the way through in that situation. But you've got to play the full version of the DVD for a challenge party. If there's stories, share those stories when you hit pause. You want to enroll them. You want to welcome them to the team. And the last thing you want to do is have a getting started training, which is exactly what you are hearing me do right this moment. It's on the DVD. You can watch it on the DVD, but hear me on this, real important. Watching a getting started training and doing a getting started training is not the same animal. Watching it gives them an idea of what they're doing. Doing it is the mechanics of making it happen. They need a pen. They need a getting started training sheet. They need to start making a list of 25 people. They've got to set a day for you to come to their house and help them invite their friends to their house for their challenge party. Before they do that, they got to know what day they're having a challenge party because it's hard to invite somebody if you don't know when you're going to have it, right? Can you hear that call? Hey, I'm going to have a challenge party. Not sure when. I'll call you back. That would be weird. So they got to know when they're going to have the challenge party before they can pre-party. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Once you have your challenge party, we've got to follow up and follow through. This is where the money takes place. This is where all the magic happens. You're going to have people that becomes different things at a challenge party. So we go through the entire challenge party, and at the end of it, we're asking them if they're a 1, 2, or 3, right? If you're a customer, are you a customer that wants to get it for free, or do you want to go promote the challenge. So if they say, hey, listen, I just want to be a customer, I'm a 1 or a 2, then what you want to do with them is you want to convert them into a customer that has a party. Now, a lot of times people go, man, that's really hard. I can't make it happen. I'm going to share something with y'all that's magic. If this gentleman right here decided he wanted to be a customer, all he wanted to do is be a customer. I don't just want him to be a customer. I don't just want him to get on the challenge. I want him to have 3 accountability partners so that I know he'll complete his challenge. Does this make sense? Say yes? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, listen, what you just saw is a challenge party. What I want to do at your house is called a customer challenge party. Now here tonight, you were here, you just saw all the compensation plan and we're going to get rich and drive free BMWs and all. When I come to your house, we're not doing all that. All we're going to do is talk about the challenge. We're going to blend some milkshakes. We're going to play the first half of the DVD. And all we're going to do is talk about the challenge. I am not going to talk about business or money at your house. Is that fair? He says yes. Guess what he's now going to do? Invite every friend he has because he's comfortable. If you do not have this dialogue with a customer, you are going to have bad customer challenge parties or 3 for free parties because they're not going to invite anyone because they're scared to death you're going to come try to pitch them a business opportunity. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. The people that say I'm a promoter, you got to run them through the GST, set their help them build a list, set their pre-party, set their challenge party, and then you have to go do it with them. Listen, brand new customers and brand new promoters are just like a child. A child does not come popping out of the womb and you throw that kid over there and go, walk, boy! That ain't how it works. You nurture them, you give them the bottle and formulas and all that kind of stuff. And then at some point you grab their little hand and you're like, watch daddy. And they don't move, they just stand there, right? And you're like, watch daddy. And you start walking, but they're watching you. And then pretty soon they're taking a step with you. And then pretty soon you can turn their hand, and then you grab it again so they don't fall. And then pretty soon you stand them up on the couch and you run over here by the table and you say, come to daddy. And they look like they're drunk. Distributors, brand new distributors the same way. They're a little infant. You've got to hold their hand. You've got to go do it for them, and then they'll do it with you, and pretty soon they'll do it by themselves. But a lot of times people in this industry, they sponsor somebody, and it's just like a brand new baby. You just going, go walk. Worse, I mean, it even gets worse. Sometimes it's like taking a brand new baby and throwing them out there and go get a job. I know you're only 2 hours old. Listen, you got to walk with your brand new promoters. You got to walk with your brand new customers. You got to walk them through the process. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. I got to think about it. Get done with the challenge party. I got to think about it. Generally, that's an excuse, but just in case it's not, give them something to think about. Give them a challenge magazine. Tell them you need it back. Tomorrow at 4:42. Where are you going to be? I'm coming to get it. Here's why. You want them to look at it, you want them to know it has importance, and you also want to have the ability to follow up and say, hey, what did you like best about the challenge magazine? Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
I'm not interested. Another good one. Come up here real quick. No, just right here. I'm going to show y'all something. This is another nugget. He said, I'm not interested. Great. Shake my hand. Hey, listen, I appreciate you coming. Promise me this. When you do get in, you're getting in with me. No, you're going to tell me. I promise. You say, when I do, get in. I'm getting in with you. I'm getting in with you. How many of y'all know that I made a big deal out of that because I never want him to forget he's getting in with me. Do y'all see how this works? Now what's going to happen? All of y'all now work for me. Because everybody that talks to him is working for who? Me. Because he's going to call me back when the time comes. It never matters to me whether they make a decision to get in today or not, as long as I get the commitment that when they do, they're getting in with me, because I know everybody's getting in. Make sense? Say yes? Yes. Periodically, your friends will lie. I mean, y'all...
Periodically.
You got one laughter. Listen, I'm going to tell you the truth. Your friends lie, and they lie often. Yeah, I'll be at your challenge party. And where are they at? They still ain't came. You call them the next time. I'll be at your challenge party. You ain't going to believe this. The canary ate the cat. Hey, come to my next challenge party. Okay. Hey, you ain't going to believe it. The cat just ate the dog. I had one guy's grandma died 9 times. Sad part is that what he don't know is I have lunch with her once a month. I mean, y'all, this is crazy. When somebody does a show to your challenge party, don't invite them to another challenge party. Here's what you do. The next day, you drive to their house. Stop just short of their driveway. Make sure their vehicle's in the driveway. Make sure they're home. And then call them and ask them if they're home. Now would not be the time to lie. Hey, John, you in the house? Yeah, great. I'll be right there. 30 seconds later, I'm knocking on the door. He's like, man, that was fast. Man, this is important. Where's your blender? Just in case there's some jacked up blenders in this world, so I'm going to give you all some advice. Make sure you got a good blender in your trunk just in case his blender's jacked up. I went into people's homes and used their blenders, and I could have stirred the shake faster with a Starbucks stirring stick. I hit the button and they said, hello? Hello? Man, I hate to tell you this, bro, but you got a jacked up blender. I'll be right back. Get done blending shakes, taste that. Tastes good? Yeah, that tastes good. Where's your DVD player? I ain't got one. But my kids got one of them X23 boxes. Great, let's go in there and use it. Plug that tape in, call the kids, tell them to hit play. We sit down and watch the DVD, get done. I said, Nick said you're 1, 2, or 3. Which one are you? 1, 2, or 3. Don't matter to me, but you're going to be one of them.
Nice.
Might I add, when I went to school, a number 1 and a number 2 was not good. A number 3 is the best. Pre-party, you know that when you're pre-partying, all we're doing is pointing people to the information. You are not the message. All you are is the interest piquer. You pique their interest and point them to information. Putting a person through 2 tools is ideal. Sending a person to 2 tools is what? Ideal. Because people need 3 exposures to make a buying decision. But listen, I get it. We live in a new wave. I want you to understand exposure to 2 is best, but exposure to 1 is better than nothing. Would y'all agree with me? So if all you do is expose them to 1, that's better than nothing. I want you to expose them to 2, but just expose them to something, right? Here's the other side. With today's technology, how many of y'all know if you expose somebody to 1, they're going to expose themselves to 2? I promise you this, the moment you expose somebody to a tool, their very next move is they type the words ViSalus into something called Google, whatever that thing is, Google, what is it? Google. How many of y'all can tell I don't know the difference between a potato chip and a microchip? They type it in there. They expose themselves, don't they? The second exposure, man, they show up at your challenge party and they know more about ViSalus than you know. It's amazing. The main thing is expose them and you don't be that exposure. Sometimes people just start yakking off about everything. People are asking themselves 3 questions the whole time you're sharing about the challenge. Number 1, can I do this? And if you're out there yakking for 20 minutes about a bunch of stuff they don't even know how to spell, the answer is no, they can't. Or at least they believe they can't, right? The next question they're asking themselves is, do I have time for this? One thing you're going to hear me say over and over again is keep your challenge party short and sweet. Keep your contacting short and sweet. If you're finding yourself on the phone with somebody 20 minutes trying to expose them to ViSalus, you're messing up. It should be quick. You're in a hurry because they're asking themselves, do I have time for this? If you're dragging everything out, the answer is no. They're asking themselves, am I willing to do to others what's being done to me? If you're weird, the answer is no. They're not. What do I mean by being weird? Sometimes people say, hey, come to my house for a barbecue. They come to your house for a barbecue and you start blending milkshakes. I understand you put barbecue sauce in them, but it still ain't a barbecue. That's weird. They're not getting in. That's strange. Soap companies used to do that to people. They'd bamboozle them. Don't do that. That's weird. Makes sense? Say yes? Yes. What do I say when you call somebody? Hey, listen, just found out about 90 Day Challenge. I'm really excited about it. My goal is to lose 10 pounds in the next 90 days. Have you heard of it? No. Great. You got to watch this. Go to my website, watch a 6-minute video. Have you heard of it? No. Great. You got to hear this. 3-way them into the byline. You're looking at them live. Have you heard about it? No. Here, watch this. Pull it up on your smartphone. Play the video. 6-minute video right off your website. Have you heard of this? No. Here, read this article in the Challenge magazine. Making sense, y'all? Mm-hmm. You understand? I'm not saying nothing. All I'm doing is piquing their interest. I'm pointing them to a tool. Make sense? Say yes. You got a first tool, a second tool, leads to your challenge party. Challenge party is your third tool. That's where they make their decision. If you just use one tool, they're going to expose themselves to the second tool. The bottom line is it all leads up to a challenge party, but I promise you this. If you skip all the tools and go straight to step 3, here's what you're going to get at every challenge party. I got to think about it. I got to think about it. I got to think about it. And it's going to be very ineffective because you haven't exposed them to anything. Make sense? You're also going to get hecklers at your challenge parties if you do this. If you just invite them to a challenge party or invite them to your house and then spring it on them because you haven't exposed them to anything, you're going to have one person that's being a jerk that causes all the rest of them in there not to want to have anything to do with it. So what you want to do is make sure you expose people to what they're coming to, so they're coming to your house to sit. They've already made their decision. They've already done their due diligence. They're coming to justify their decision of being a customer, joining us on the challenge, or justifying their decision of being a promoter to go promote the challenge. Sometimes they made a decision to be a customer, and their decision changes to a promoter at your challenge party when they see how simple it is. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
You got all kinds of tools to promote with. You've got the magazines, you've got the videos, you've got taster packs, you've got everything. Motion. Have y'all noticed I'll pace back and forth? The people out there trying to film me. Would you just stop?
Yeah. Exactly.
Kills me. People get so aggravated. I look out in the crowd, I can just tell they're just boiling out there. If you just stop for a minute, I'll get a good one. Motion creates emotion. You think this is pacing? This ain't pacing. You ought to watch me do 3-way calls. I have a beautiful yard, but all the way around my house looks like a dog track. People go to the gym to get cardio, man, all you need to do is follow me for a couple hours. I'll have your tongue hanging out. I'm on my, and I'm doing cardio while talking. I mean, it's real cardio. You got to move. I move. That creates emotion. People don't hear what you say. They hear your excitement. And some of y'all just ain't exciting. I'm just going to tell you, some of y'all just ain't exciting people, and it's okay. I'm like jacked up. I'm jacked up all the time. So here's what you non-excited people do. You grab 2 goes, drink it. Take an arrow, pour it under your tongue, go run around the house twice, and then start making phone calls. You call your friends up. Hey, listen, I'm so excited. You ain't gonna believe this. Oh, yeah. They might not know what you said, but it don't matter. They just want to get in. Have confidence. Have confidence. But I can't confidence. I just got started. Yeah, but if you just got started, at least you know we're marketing a challenge where people's losing weight. They don't know nothing. They think Viagra and Cialis merged. They don't even know, right? They're one step ahead of them. Don't ask, tell. I don't ask nobody nothing. I tell them, hey, listen, you need to go to my website. I don't say, hey, please, if you don't mind, when you got time. That's just weird. Hey, you need to go to my website. People need to be led, right? You need to read this article. Y'all see what I'm doing? It's instructional statements. Kind of like get objections. Hey, listen, I don't know this. Hey, I think it's one of them triangles. I don't know. All I know is this. I just went over to Toronto. There was a bunch of people in the room, and everybody's lost weight. Everybody's driving a BMW, and there's a bunch of happy people. Some guy said, pour powder under your tongue and run around your house 3 times. Get in. Be a pearl diver. A pearl diver does not go get an oyster and say, man, I hope and pray that there's a pearl in this oyster. And then they open it up and they ain't no pearl, and then they don't just like start hugging it and kissing on it and rubbing on it, saying, please be a pearl. Open it up, no pearl. Then they don't put it down and start sitting on it and try to hatch a pearl like an egg. Listen, here's what a pearl diver does. They open an oyster, there ain't no pearl, they throw the oyster, grab the next one, open no pearl, okay, yep, hey, there's a pearl, great, set that off to the side, grab the next one, no pearl, no pearl. So be like a pearl diver, right? You interested? No. You interested? No. You interested? No. You interested? No. You interested? Yes, I got one. Interested? No. Interested? No. Interested? No. Interested? No. Interested? Yes, I got one. Want to get on the challenge? Want to get on the challenge? Want to get on the challenge? Want to get? Yes, I got another one. You noticed I didn't take these first 5 that told me, and put them in a wad and sat on top of them trying to hatch them, did I? I didn't rub them. We got something called the SW rule. It stands for some will, some won't, so what next? Say it with me.
Some will, some won't, so what next?
That's how you build a business. Don't get hung up on any one person. I know you want it more for them than they want it for themselves. Share some like philosophies with you. You ready? So if you're ready, say I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You cannot nail jello to a wall. You can't kiss a woman leaning away from you. You can't climb a fence leaning towards you. You can't get somebody to do something they don't want to do. What happened if the person no-shows already told you, go to their house, stop just short of the driveway. My prospect lives out of town. Do everything the exact same way I just told you, except when it gets to the challenge party, you're going to do it online, overview.vi.com. I can't move my prospect forward, Kyle. I've done everything. I know they're interested. I just can't get them to move forward. You're going to do a three-way call with your upline. First thing I'm going to tell you is when you do the three-way call, get a roll of duct tape and put it on your mouth. Here's why. Your job is to introduce your upline, and then your job to shut up. Here's what I do with people that tend to talk. They think I got cell phone problems. Because every time they talk, I stick my phone out the window at 65 miles an hour, and then I hit end. If you're bringing me on the phone to be the expert, let me be the expert. Sometimes during that conversation, I will pause. There will be a moment of silence. Silence does not mean you need to speak up, because when you do, my phone goes dead. Just telling you, and your uplines are probably the same way. Bring us onto the call. Let us do what we do. You introduce us. You be quiet. You couldn't get them across the line. Let us get them across the line. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Here's why it's effective. You have your prospect. Your prospect trusts you. You tell your prospect about the expert, which is promoting, edifying. There is now respect from your prospect to the expert. They will actually listen to us, and we can move them forward. Pre-party within the next 24 hours. If you're brand new, you need to schedule your pre-party. If you're not brand new, every single person you work with, you've got to schedule their personal pre-party so that when they have their challenge party, there's people that's actually there. You need to be present with them. Don't tell them to do it. Go do it with them. Here's why. When you're sitting there at their house, if you don't go with them, they're either going to quit your business before their first five phone calls or immediately after their first 5 phone calls. I'll prove it. They call the first 2 or 3 people, they get negative, they're done. Would y'all agree? They never make the first 5 because they're scared they're going to get negative. They're done. You agree?
Yes.
If you're there, they'll make the calls. When they get the negative or they mess it all up, just tell them, man, you sure screwed that one up. Give me a high five. Let's call the next one, baby. You're their security blanket. You're moving them forward. If you're there with them, helping them, all of a sudden they're going to get a yes. They're going to get a positive. They're going to get a victory. And now they're going to go to the next one. And it builds with momentum. You get one victory, now you got another victory. What's a victory? They got somebody coming to their challenge party. Makes sense? Say yes. Additional party promotions. This is a quick slide. Nobody's coming to your challenge party based on Facebook, tweet, whatever that thing is, text, email. That's all support material. They're only going to come if you talk to them on the phone or face-to-face. Make sense? Say yes. I'm not talking about this one. Somebody's doing an entire training on it. I can't even spell Facebook. Number 5, register for the next event. Right now, we are at the regional event. We have local, regional, national, repeat. Vitality is a national event. It's just the Super Bowl of them all. Remember, events is what multiplies your business. The more butts you have in a seat at an event, the more people's going to get excited. The more people's going to leave there with a fire. The more people's going to go out there and blow the business up. Your business is going to grow like wildfire, but it's all based on events. Some people say, well, I'm going to do everything but go to the event. And then people never do anything. You know why? Because it never can be bigger than their little vision. Nobody ever sees anything bigger than just their living room. Events is where belief is built. You'll hear me talk a lot about belief. We call it bits, butts in the seat. Make sense? Say yes? Here's the regional success tour. Here's a slide for that. I can't read all the cities. Y'all know we are in Toronto today. Denver's happening simultaneously in Indianapolis, but next weekend, Los Angeles, Calgary, and Richmond, Virginia. Go look in your business, see who you got in those areas. Look at your list, see who you got in those areas. Get on Facebook, see who you got in those areas. Kansas City, Atlanta on the 8th and 9th. Orlando, Florida. Vancouver, BC, Canada. Quebec City. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Who do you know in the area? Get everybody to the events. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Then we got the granddaddy of them all, right? We've got the National Success Training. Everything takes place. Everything that we're doing is all leading up to the National Success Training. This is what I call the glue. This is where all the belief is built. This is where all the dreams are created. This is where all the magic happens and the millionaires are made. You've got to make sure you're registered for the event so that you can make sure you get your entire team to the event. You can't get nobody there if you're not going. I stand in the back of the room and they said, how many of y'all is already registered? A couple of y'all had your little thing. Listen. Do you want it? I know Blake was up here. Blake was up here and asked if you were serious, right? And everybody said they were serious. But my thing is, if you're serious, then you need to go get your education. Go get your motivation so that you can get your team there. So make for certain, if you truly want this, you got to be there. And what you're hearing me talk about, these are steps to success. It's almost like making a cake. Has anybody ever made a cake before?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You y'all? Anybody ever made biscuits? What y'all call them up in Canada? Waffles? When you're making a cake, I challenge you on this. Go make a cake and decide to leave the flour out. It ain't going to come out too good, is it? Go make a cake and decide to keep whatever you're sweetening it with out of it. It's going to taste like crap, ain't it? So here's the deal. This is like making a cake. You can't leave any of the ingredients out or you don't have a problem, right? You got to make sure all the ingredients in there, and one of the biggest ingredients is the National Success Training. Make sure before you leave here today, you get your application filled out for it, get it back to us so that you can be there and you can promote this to your team. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
All of your actions, I'm going to blow through this real quick. All of your actions you do is going to determine your success. How many people you contact and how many tools you're putting in their hands each and every day. You've got to set yourself goals. How many of y'all know you cannot determine your results, can you? I can't decide whether these 6 people want to do it, can I? But what I can decide is how many people I'm going to expose. And you can control your activity. So set little goals for your activity. Today I'm going to hand out 3 magazines. Today I'm going to contact 5 people and expose them to a tool. Maybe you're moved up a little further in the business. Today I'm going to do a challenge party. Today I'm going to do a pre-party and a challenge party for somebody on my team. You've got to decide what your actions and activities are. You've got to set a goal for that, and you've got to go do that. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
Last thing I'm going to tell you is this. All this stuff I told you, some of you sitting there going, well, I'm not going to do all that. Stay broke. It's all volunteer army. You ain't got to. Everybody don't want to make, a couple $100,000 a year. I get it. That's okay. You don't have to. Maybe you don't want to make $1 million a year. Maybe you don't want to make $100,000 a year. Maybe you just want to make enough money to get by. Take what I said, dilute it down, and do that amount to where you get what it is that you want. Because we all have different dreams and goals, don't we? I believe this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to overdo it. I'm that person. That might not be you. But I will promise you this thing. If your dream is big enough, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, if it's big enough, it'll outweigh all the fear in the world. And I'll prove this. When I was very young in the industry and I had to make phone calls, I went to pick the phone up and it weighed 900 pounds. I'd pick it up, it was like it was on a magnet. It'd suck it back down. I'd pick it up, I was shaking. Matter of fact, I leaned back in my chair and looked at it and the phone was breathing. And it was going at the same rate as my heart. I'm going boop, 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 and it's going. But then all of a sudden I thought, man, I can't wait till that day I'm laying in my bed and I hear that vacuum cleaner and I look over and she's laying beside me. Give me that phone! And I started making phone calls because my dream outweighed my fear. Know what your dream is and it will outweigh your fear. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
We're going to bring up to the stage right now. Y'all heard me talk about when we have a challenge party. We're going to have customers who say, listen, I just want to be a customer. I just want to get on the challenge. We want to take that customer and we want to take that viral. We want to go help them get their 3 accountability partners so they stay on the challenge. Those 3 accountability partners will also help them get their product free. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
This is, in my opinion, the most important thing you're going to hear today. The future of Visalis is a customer-driven company because people are wrapped around the challenge. I want to bring up what is the best in the entire business of running this play. Help me welcome 5-star ambassador, Miss Joni Robbins.